Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our revered speaker, His Grace Ishvara Prabhu. And all glories to the Son of the Vaishnava devotees. Devotees, we thank you for being here as always. Today we have one of our own, His Grace Ishvara Prabhu, who will be speaking to us. And it's always pleasurable having Prabhuji speak because he's speaking from the Holy Dham 1. And of course, he's also our mentor. So we take lots of inspiration and encouragement when we have him speak to us. So Prabhuji, we may put the verse on the screen and then you take it over from here.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Narayana Namaskritya Narayana Narotaman Devam Sarasatum Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nasa Praye Sabhadresu Nitam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatuttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistike Vederamane Chava Purane Bharate Tata Adi Adiyanti Mahadi Chahari Savate Gayate Mukam Kratiba Chalam Pangu Langa Chikri Yakipata Hamvande Sri Guru Dinacharine Paramananda Madhu Dhamma Prajita Kadavutra Paramo Nimasham Satan Vedam Vastavam Atavastu Shivadan Trapatayumulanan Sima Bhagavati Mahamani Kitenki Vaipara Ishvara Saduriti Havariti Trakiti Pitakishana Nigama Kapatalu Galitam Phalam Sukamukandra Sanvitam Pibatam Bhagavatam Rasamalaya Mohura Rasika Bhavibaku Mohura Rasika Bhavibabuka Atoyam Brahmasutranam Bharatata Vinaya Gayati Bhajaru Poshabidata Paribrimita Sababiditiya Sanam Saram Saram Paribrimita Sababidata Saramhi Shibhagota Misyati Tarasamita Shyati Tashananyati Shirati Kochi Gurave Gurachandaya Ratikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishnabhaktaya Tada Bhaktaya Namo Nama Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumara Govindaya Namo Nama Vasudeva Sutandeva Kansa Chandramadana Devaki Paramananda Krishna Vande Jagaguru Namamo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pracharine Nivise Sasunyavadi Pashras Desitarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Bhakti Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakavatruvyas Chakripasuni Vachaparitana Pavana Vibhu Vaishnava Bhyo Namo Namaha. So I thank everyone for being here this evening, for tuning to the Hare Krishna African Zoom platform. So I hope those who have been coming regularly, they are getting some benefits from speakers of the Bhagavatam. So of course, benefit is always there. Whenever one here talks Krishna Katha being spoken, there's always a benefit. The speaker get benefit, and also the hearer also get benefit. And such glorification of the Lord is the means by which we can actually cross over the ocean of materialistic existence. So the best sadhana is this hearing process. That's the best sadhana. So here, we hear, we talk about Krishna, we hear about Krishna, And then we forget all the tribulations of this material world. So this month is it's beginning. Yesterday was Ekadasi, and today is Dwadasi. And the month of Kartik is just beginning. So Kartik month is practically the most important month of all the 12 months. Because this month is called the month of Damodara. It's the month of Krishna, Lord Damodara. So this month, there's a lot of significance about this month. A lot of significance is there. Normally, there are 12 months, according to the Vedic calendars, and each month has got a particular deity behind every particular month. Just like there's Trivikram, there is, different months are there. In the Chitta there's the mentioning of 24 different avatars. Different avatars of the Lord is there. And one of these, after 12 of these avatars, each month is named after them. But this Kartik month is called Damodara Mas, the month of Damodara. So it's significance. Why? Because this month, there is a competition, competition is there. And what is that competition? Competition between the opulence of God and love of God, where there's a competition between loving characteristics, and then the vibhu or the opulence of Krishna, of the Lord, whereby when Krishna, as a child, when he was being, let's say, playing the pastimes, being naughty, so his mother wanted to bind him. She wanted to be banned. Mother Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna. But Krishna, he didn't want to be bound by his mother. So because of this desire, so one of his opulence, Shakti, called Vibhu Shakti, comes into play, whereby Mother Yashoda, she tried so many different ways to bind Krishna. Even though Krishna was only a tiny boy, was just a tiny boy, about 3 years old, and which means he had a slim waist. So how much does it take to bind this a tiny child, slim-waisted tiny child, tiny boy? Somebody showed her, she tried to bind Krishna. But here's the same Krishna by which the whole universe is within his belly. The whole universe is within his abdomen. There was a pastime was there when one time all the Kahet boys, friends of Krishna, they made a complaint to Mother Yashoda. They told Mother Yashoda that Krishna had eaten dirt, that Krishna had been eating dirt. So then Mother Yashoda called Krishna that, oh, hey, Krishna, your friend just complained that you've been eating dirt. So when Krishna heard this, he said, oh, mother, this is a conspiracy against me. I've not eaten dirt. If you want to find out, why don't you look into my mouth? Then you can find out yourself if I've eaten dirt or not. Somebody Yashoda says, okay, open your mouth. Let me see your mouth. And then when Krishna opened his mouth, and the Mother Yashoda looked inside his mouth, what did he see? She saw all the planetary systems within the mouth of Krishna. He saw so many universes, so many planets. She saw the sun, the moon, everything, the stars, everything, all the cosmos within Krishna, all the seas, everything. So which means immediately Krishna's opulence manifests, Lila Shakti manifests. Malaysia is able to see all this manifestation. And then, of course, then after some time, then Krishna withdrew this. Krishna withdrew this, and then Krishna closed his mouth. And then showed us for one moment she was thinking that is this my son or what? What am I saying? What am I saying? And then again, Krishna covered Madhushoda, which is internal potency. So she was covered again. She had again the feeling of Krishna being her son, her loving son. So these pastimes of Krishna, Madhushoda wanted to bind Krishna, was such a very sweet pastimes, very sweet lila. Because Madhushoda, she was taking rope, she was guarding rope, and then she was trying to bind Krishna to a grinding mortar, trying to bind Krishna to a grinding mortar. And every time she tried to bind Krishna, then each time the rope is always coming short, 2 fingers too short. 2 fingers too short, just like 6 inches. Always coming too short each time she tried to bind. She was taking so many ropes from the house, tie them together to bind Krishna. Still, the rope is always coming short because Krishna Vibhu Shakti is in play. Vibhu Shakti means Krishna is unlimited. How can you bind him? And then then it so happened that Madhushoda, as she was binding Krishna, unable to bind Krishna, but she was full of determination. Her determination was that I must bind Krishna, I must bind him. I don't care how long it's going to take, I must bind him. So morals will be brought, they will be tied together. Still, the ropes always coming too short. All the household ropes. And then all Mother Yashoda's friend, Faithful Dear came, and they all laughing at Mother Yashoda. They're laughing, oh Yashoda Maya, you're unable to bind your child, you're unable to. So they were all laughing. And then all of them, then they brought the rope from their houses. They all brought the ropes from their houses all over. Still, no matter how much you tie them together, still, Krishna could not be bound. The rope always coming, too short, 2 fingers too short. And then that's still Mother Yashoda will not give up because she was relishing her love for Krishna, intense love. And then at the end, when there was just 1 rope left, still Mother Yashoda was full of determination. And then Krishna desired that he be bound by his mother. He be bound. So Krishna's Kripa Shakti comes, and this Shakti whereby full of mercy. And then immediately the Mother Yashoda was able to bind Krishna. So which means there's a triumph of love over the opulence of God. The triumph of love over the opulence. So this pastime, normally this month, which is beginning actually today, tomorrow, the month of Kartik, where it's devotee they normally relish hearing about these pastimes of Krishna being bound by Mother Yashoda. So, and then this month there's one devotee, they make special vow, it's called Uja Vrata. Uja Vrata. It's a special vow that they make because the month is so very dear to Krishna, the most dear to the Lord. So devotees, they make special vow, whereby the whole purpose of the vow, of course, is to increase the devotion. So devotees, they make vow that it could be maybe increased chanting, could be increased reading, and of course, many devotees who are here in Vrindavan, normally devotees make so many different vows. Like many of us, we do parikrama every day, which is Vrindavan parikrama, which is like a 12 kilometers every day, of going around Vrindavan every day. Devotees do that. And then devotee reduce the amount of eating. They reduce that. Small, which means there's more austerity in terms of more, in terms of less attention to the body, and more focus on the spiritual aspect. So this is very, very auspicious. And of course, since many of us, we are unable to be in Vrindavan, wherever you may be in the world, whatever you may be, still, you can still make a pledge with yourself. You can make a vow for yourself that this month is a 30 days, this month of Kartik, that I'm going to increase my level of bhakti, my level of devotion, what I've been doing, I'm going to increase it. Either by way of reading, chanting, more devotee association, this must be increased this month. And then we do that, we see a reciprocation within ourselves, with the reciprocation with the, in terms of our level of advancement in Krishna consciousness. So I will just embark now on the Bhagavatam, the 10th Canto Bhagavatam. No, this is 3rd Canto Bhagavatam, chapter 3. No, Canto 3, chapter 3, text 22. That is today's verse. Uddhava is describing Lord Krishna's pastime outside of Vrindavan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 3, text 22. Some call is there. All right. Tasyavam Ramamanasya Samvatsara Ganambahum Griyamedus Yogeshu Viraga Samajayata. Tashya is even thus Ramamanasya enjoying Samvatsara years, Gana many, Bahun great many, Gramideshu in household life, Yogeshu in sex life. Yoga, this should not be, this many should not be worded differently, because yoga actually means union, and yoga should mean in union. Anyway, it's just put literally in sex life. Viraga, detachment. Samajayata, awakened. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, S. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Lord was thus engaged in household life for many, many years. But at last, his detachment from ephemeral sex life was fully manifested. Purport. Even though the Lord is never attached to any kind of material sex life, as the universal teacher, he remained a householder for many, many years, just to teach others how one should live in householder life. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains that the word Samjayata means fully exhibited. Samajayata, fully exhibited in all his activities. While present on the earth, the Lord exhibited detachment. This was fully displayed when he wanted to teach, by example, that one should not remain attached to household life for all the days of one's life. One should naturally develop detachment as a matter of course. The Lord's detachment from our own life does not indicate detachment from his eternal associates. The transcendental covered themselves, but the Lord desired to end his so-called attachment to the three modes of material nature. He can never be detached from the service of his transcendental associate like Rukmini and other goddesses of fortune, as described in the Brahma Samhita, Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Brahmase Vyamanam Vindama Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So it's like Prabhupada. I given a purport that way. Translation again. Shaham Ramamanasya Samvatsara Ganam Baham Gramedesu Yogesu Viraga Samajayata Samvatsara. The Lord was thus engaged in also the life for many, many years. But at last his detachment from ephemeral sex life was fully manifested. Now, of course, when we read this, we should not interpret this to be some mundane sex life. Because that's what we call the transcendental sex life is there, and there's mundane sex life. The transcendental sex life is called prema, whereas mundane sex life is called karma. That's prem, and that is karma. So this is given the definition is given in the Chaitanya Chaitamrita, that the desire to gratify oneself, this is called karma, lust. Desire to gratify oneself is called lust. But desire to gratify Krishna is called prem, which means desire to gratify oneself, one's senses, it's lust, and desire to gratify Krishna's senses. Krishnendriya, Atmanendriya and Krishnendriya. Atmanendriya means one's senses, one sense gratification. And then the Krishnendriya, which means Krishna's senses, which means what gives pleasure to Krishna, what gives pleasure to God. So, because when we render service to the Lord, it's actually loving service. Because unless there's love, it cannot be called service. Because what attracts the Lord is one's loving service. That's what attracts him. So desire to gratify oneself is called lust, whereas desire to gratify the Lord is called prem. So there's no such a thing as so-called sex life when it comes to the affairs of the Lord. When the Lord was preparing to come 5,000 years ago, because the Lord was coming to perform his Leela, his pastimes, and the purpose of these pastimes is to attract the living entities. Because when the Lord performed pastime, so the living entities they got to see this Leela, and then they become attracted, and then they can go back to the spiritual world. So when the Lord was coming, so the Lord Brahma, so he ordered all the demigods that because the Lord is coming, now all of them, they should now take birth on earth. They should take birth on earth to assist the Lord in his pastimes. Now, so the Lord comes. However, along with the Lord coming, prophets come. So all the demigods, they take birth. Many demigods, they take birth on earth in the family of Yadus, in the family of Madhavas, Boja, different dynasties. So they all take birth. And now, along with them also are the Lord's own eternal associates. The Lord's own eternal associates, they also descended along with the Lord. So those eternal associates, like you mentioned, Nanda, so many associated here, especially from Golok Dam, some from Vaikunta, and many, some from Golok Dam, like Modi Yeshoda, Nanda Maharaj, the Gopis, of course. They all come from the Golok Dam, the eternal associate. And then the Lakshmi herself, she also descended. The person here does that Lakshmi Sahasrata Lakshmi Sahasrata Sambhama Sevya Maranam, which means there are thousands and thousands of Lakshmis. Lakshmis are goddesses of fortune who also came. He also descended the Lord. So now these are eternal associates who came from the spiritual world. Now, when the Lord was on earth, so Lord Krishna performed his lila, he was on earth for 125 years. 125 years he was on earth. Now, the first 12 years of those 125 years, the Lord was in Vrindavan. The Lord was in Vrindavan, whereby he relished the loving interactions with his devotees of Vrindavan. He relished the loving dealing, love interaction, especially the primary 4 types of relationship. It's supposed to be 5, like Santa is there, but primarily 4 types, like Dasya, Shakya, Vatsaya, and Madhya, the 4 kinds. So different devotees, entities, they are the let's say the reciprocal of each of those 4 relationship rasas. Now, of course, in terms of Santa rasa, you have like the trees, the plants, animals. So they are in that particular rasa, whereby they are simply enamored by the Lord Himself. So the rasas, which are described in the scriptures, it means the rasa means the relationships that are there. So that is fully manifested only in Vrindavan. And that manifestation is ruled by the sweet aspect of Krishna. Madhurya is called Madhurya, the sweet aspect of the Lord. Whereby the Lord is just wonderful personality, wonderful relatives. He's not God. Krishna is not God in Vrindavan. He's God, but in Vrindavan, he play not to be God. He just have this loving relationship with his devotees. Just like a prime minister, or just like a president of a country. The president is there. Who's the president? You go to in his office as a president, everybody have to worship him to get anything. And when he goes to his house, he's not president. In his house, he's just a loving person of his particular relationship with his family member, the wife, the children, friends. They don't see him as president, they just see him as their relation. That's what they see. So similarly also, Krishna Vrindavan is the same also. Krishna is never seen as God in Vrindavan, even though he performs so many godly activities by which only God can perform. Many activities are there which Vijayabhasi saw that only God can perform those activities. But still, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they never see Krishna as God. For example, like so many demons that Krishna killed when he was just a child. After he was only a few days old when he killed a Putana, the witch. He was only like 3 months old when he killed Sakatasura. Then he killed Trinavalta, and many demons, great. And these are like very, very powerful entities, these demonic beings. But Krishna killed all of them, and he killed all of them without any efforts. And also, in Vrindavan, Krishna never carried any weapon in Vrindavan. Normally, whenever you see the form of God, like Vishnu forms or Ramachandra form, every incarnation form, they always carry weapon. They carry weapon. It could be in form of chakra, or they carry something like Lord Ramachandra. He carries bow and arrow. Every incarnation of God, you will have some kind of a weapon. But Krishna never carry weapon in Vrindavan. Only his flute. That's flute. That's all. So many demons are coming. They got killed, but they were not killed by weapons. Either just by touching them, they are killed. Just by touching them, they get killed. Like that. So, like when Krishna was 7 years old, he lifted Govardhan Hill. The hill the hill was not small hill. It's a very big, massive mountain that Krishna lifted. And Krishna lifted the hill to give protection to all the Brajavasis. So the Brajavasis, they're able to witness all these activities. But it never comes to their mind that maybe this Krishna is God. Maybe Krishna is God. Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's father, he always said that, oh, my son, he's performing so many characteristics, and his actions is just like God. It's like he has got the power of God. It's just like God, his actions. Because during the naming ceremony, when Sandipani Muni came to Vrindavan to perform Krishna's naming ceremony, so Sandipani Muni, who knows who Krishna is, but at the same time, he did not want to disturb the mood of Nanda Maharaj or Yashoda, Mother Yashoda. He didn't want to tell him that, oh, this child of yours is God. No, he didn't. He just told him that this child of yours, he had made his appearance many times. Sometimes he comes in a blue complexion. Sometimes he comes as yellow complexion. Sometimes he comes as whitish complexion. So he was describing that your son has come several times. But at the same time, but this Krishna, this child of yours, he be so powerful that his power will just be as good as God's power. You actually have the power of God, this child of yours. He said, this child of yours will have the power of God. But Sandipani Muni did not tell the Nanda that your child is not really, your child is actually God himself who has come. But because, because Krishna himself wanted to relish a loving relationship with his parents. He didn't want to see him in any kind of superior way. He want to feel dependent on them. He want to feel dependent, whereby Krishna is completely dependent on his mother and father, and he was completely dependent, So, very unique, very unique pastimes, of course. So sometimes Nanda Maharaj will say that my son, that yes, we can see that my son is killing so many demons, doing so many things, lifting Govardhan Hill and all this thing. But actually, because I have worshipped Narayan, because Nanda Maharaj is a great worshipper of Lord Narayan, he said that because I have worshipped Narayan, and because of my worship, Narayan is coming to always protecting my son. So many demons are coming, and they are being killed, but all these demons are being killed by Lord Narayan. And the Lord Narayan is protecting my sons. And all this, if I see my son lifting Govardhan Hill, because Lord Narayan is acting towards him. So therefore, another man never said that, oh, my son is God, my son is God. Even there was a pastime. It was a Dwadasi day. Today's Dwadasi, by the way. It was a Dwadasi day, early morning. And normally on Dwadasi, there's supposed to be certain time of the day by which one is supposed to perform some activity, certain time of the morning on the other day. But it was the other morning. So Nanda Maharaj, he went to Yamuna River to take bath. So when we went to Yamuna River to take bath, but at that particular, it was early morning. So at that time, the associate of Varuna, the river god, the water god, the associate of they were there on that spot. They were there. So they were there along with their master, Varuna himself. So it was early morning. So Nanda Maharaj was bathing. So and this was supposed to be a timing by which people are not supposed to perform an activity like coming to bathing in the river at that time. But Nanda Maharaj went there. So, and then what happened is that the associate of Varuna, then they took Nanda Maharaj. They arrested him. And they took him to the abode of Varuna. They took him to the abode of Varuna. So when they took him to the abode of Varuna, and then, now of course, when Varuna saw Nanda Maharaj, immediately became fearful because he knew that Nanda Maharaj is Krishna's father. So he was wondering what's going to happen. Even though so Nanda Maharaj was kind of kept aside. But immediately Krishna heard that his father had been taken by the associate of Varuna. So Krishna immediately went. He went to the river Yamuna, and the Krishna dove in, and he went straight to the abode of Varuna. So when Krishna went to the abode of Varuna, so when Varuna saw Krishna, he immediately became very panicked because this is his God coming. So he immediately became very panicked. Immediately, he got up from his throne, and with all his associates, he arranged for all the worship of Krishna. They put Krishna on the throne and arranged, and he was doing a gorgeous worship of Krishna. And he was so careful that he made sure that Krishna will not see his father being banned by his associate. He made sure because if Krishna should see his father being banned, then that Krishna will become angry at him and he may be destroyed. So he gave a very elaborate worship of Krishna. Another Maharaj he saw all these things. He saw how Krishna was being worshipped by Varuna. He saw how Krishna was being worshipped by Varuna. And then, so eventually, then Varuna, he bade farewell to Krishna, and then Krishna and his father, then they went back to the village in Vrindavan. And then Nanda Maharaj was telling the Brijabasi, the elderly cowherd man, that, you can't imagine what I just saw today. I went to the abode of the Varuna, and my son came, Krishna came, and Krishna was being worshipped, was being given elaborate worship by this demigod, Varuna. He was being given elaborate worship. So as Krishna was saying this, to all the elderly Brajabasis, they're all saying that, we've been suspecting something about your son. We have been suspecting something about your son. And then they started accusing Nanda Maharaj. The Nanda Maharaj, is there something that you're hiding from us, that you're not telling us? If there's something you're hiding from us, you're not telling us, we want to kind of banish you from our village, because there's something you're not telling us about your son. That your son is not an ordinary person. Your son is not just somebody we call Lala, a child, or your son is not. Your son is extraordinary. Look at all this activity that he was doing, killing so many demons, racing over there, hit so many things like that. There's something you don't tell us about your son. And then Nanda Maharaj was telling Silak, he said, look, all of you come down. When my son was being given naming ceremony by Sandipani Muni, Sandipani Muni said that my son Krishna, he has got the power of Narayan. He has the power of Narayan. So therefore, all this activity that you are seeing is because of this power of Narayan that is coming through him. It's not that it's God himself, Narayan himself, but it's power of Narayan that is coming through him. So therefore, so in this way, Nanda Maharaj was able to calm the uneasiness of the Brijabasi, was able to calm them down, you see. And then then after Krishna left Vrindavan and went to Mathura, and then Mathura to Dwarka, and that time he was feeling so much separation from the inhabitant of Vrindavan. He was feeling a lot of separation. So Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan. He sent Uddhava to go and give a message of consolation. Because when Krishna left Vrindavan, all the Brijabasis, they were simply feeling intense separation from Krishna. Crying. All the activities stopped. They stopped eating, drinking, crying. All the activities just stopped. All the Brijabasis, they simply crying day in, day out, because Krishna is their life. Without Krishna, they have no other existence. So because Krishna knew that the Brijabasis, they were feeling so much separation from him, so he sent Uddhava with a message to go to give to Brijabasi that I know you're feeling separation from me. I'm also feeling separation from you, and I assure you that I will come back. I'm going to come back very soon to Vrindavan. So when Uddhava came Vrindavan, and Uddhava was telling Brijabasi, was preaching to them that, oh dear Brijabasi, that you should know that Krishna is this God. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, is the Supreme Brahman. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. That Krishna is not just for you here in Vrindavan, but Krishna is the Lord of all living entities. Krishna is the Paramatma, is the super soul of all living entities, is in the heart of all living entities as a Paramatma. So Uddhava was preaching on and on, because Uddhava is a great knowledgeable person, he's a Gyani, because he was also being a disciple of Brihaspati, a very highly learned person. But as Uddhava was trying to convince Brijabasi that why they should stop crying for Krishna, because Krishna is a Paramatma, is the Supreme Brahman, you know. So the Brijabasi, they simply told Uddhava that, oh, Uddhava, whatever you are saying, that may be good for you. You're accepting Krishna as Paramatma, as Brahman, but for us, Krishna is our loving relationship. Krishna is our loving relationship. So anyway, so Uddhava he found himself in a very bewildering situation, that actually this Brijabasi, they actually have such a pure love for Krishna. So therefore he prayed to have the same love. What did the Brijabasi have for Krishna? He prayed to have the same love. He was actually praying that, oh, I wish to be born in Vrindavan, like in the form of a grass. I wish to be born in Vrindavan in the form of a grass, so that these great devotees, when they step upon me, then I will feel that, yes, my life is successful when they step upon me. So Uddhava was praying this way. So Uddhava, in this text, because I have to come back to this text, today's text. So in his separation feeling, the previous chapter, he was describing the lost pastime in Vrindavan. The lost pastime in Vrindavan is describing it, but in this chapter, is describing the lost pastime outside of Vrindavan. The lost pastime outside of Vrindavan is describing. So it basically followed, like in the Bhagavatam 10th canto. Bhagavatam 10th canto basically describes the Lord's Lila, Lord Krishna's Lila. 10th canto Bhagavatam has 90 chapters. the 10 canto Bhagavatam. So about half of those chapters are the lost pastime in Vrindavan, and then the other half are the lost pastime outside of Vrindavan. So this is how they describe the same. But even though it was described that Krishna never lived in Vrindavan, but the Krishna in his ISVARA aspect. ISVARA means opulence aspect. In a godly aspect, he left Vrindavan, now is in Vrindavan. Now he's in Dwarka as a king, and is in a different role, not as the same role which he had before in Vrindavan, whereby he was a cowherd. He was a cowherd boy, but now is God, is God, is a king full of opulence, by which every day so many gods, many demigods will come every day to pray to Lord Krishna. Every day, different demigods will come to Dwarka. They all basically line up. They're making prayers to the Lord. Like those demigods like Suryadev, Agnidev, Indra, they will all come, They will all come at the door, be making prayers. And sometimes Lord Krishna's gatekeeper, we tell him that because this demigod, they just be making prayers. We said that Indra, just slow down, you're making so much noise. We be telling them to cool up. They are making so much noise, making prayers. But because normally everyone is afraid of God, so therefore they're making prayers so that they can appease him. So every day, different demigods, they become personalities. Not just demigods, also different sages, they become just to be able to have the audience of the Lord, to have a glimpse of the Lord, they become. So the Lord, he performed the role of a perfect householder. He performed the role of perfect householder from chapter 50 of 10 canto all the way to we've been reading in the 10th canto of the Lord's marriage, how Lord Krishna, how he married so many wives. Many wives, starting from Rukmini, and then the other wives, Jambavati, Satyabhama, Nagnajiti, Kalindi, so many wives that Krishna and then along with the 16,100 wives who Krishna married, because these 16,000 they were princesses, but they were kidnapped by Narakasura. They were kidnapped by him, and then Krishna killed him, this Asura. And when Krishna killed this Asura, this demon, so all these princesses, normally, who have been kidnapped by this demon, because according to the Vedic culture, if a woman, if a girl, a maiden, leaves her house, then no man will ever marry her again. No, because normally, according to the Vedic system, when a girl between the age of when a girl is young, in a childhood, under the protection of the father, and then in a youthful life, then under the protection of the husband, and then in a later life, under the protection of the grown-up children, grown-up sons. So which means a woman will always be under protection, you see. So, but this Narakasura kidnapped all these princesses. So which means after Narakasura was killed by Krishna, so these princesses, they cannot go to their house anymore. They cannot go to their house because they were forcibly kidnapped. So what to do? So they all pray to Krishna, that Krishna, please, dear Lord Krishna, please give us protection, protect us. So, and Krishna, he mercifully accepted them, and then he accepted them to be his wife, and he married them 16,108 wives, 100 wives. So along with the original 8 wife, so Krishna's wife became 16,108. So Krishna married so many so many wives this way. Now, Krishna, now being the husband of many wives. Now, what happened? Does that mean that now how's he going to spend time with each wife? How's he going to spend time with 16,000? How's he going to spend time with each wife? So what Krishna did is that he simply became many Krishnas. He just duplicated himself, multiplied himself, become many Krishnas. And which means there's only one Krishna per wife. Many Krishnas. And then for each wife, he built a palace for each wife. He built a palace for each wife. Each wife has gone to her own palace. And these are not ordinary palace. You know, these are like with all the jewels on the spiritual world, everything, you know. And then it's now Krishna manifested himself. He duplicated himself in variety. Normally the yogis can also duplicate themselves. When somebody has a mystic power, they can duplicate, they can become many. A yogi can become many. However, when a yogi can become many, somebody who has developed mystic power, they can become many, but their action is only their action is only singular, which means whatever the original person, the chief person does, that's what the other person is going to be doing. Which means if the chief person lifts his hand, all the others are also going to be lift the hand. So they can manifest themselves many, but they can only perform just one singular action. But Krishna was different. So when Krishna became many, but each one was doing different things at the same time, different things. For example, when Narada Muni came to Dwarka, he wanted to see how Krishna was acting, was behaving as a householder. He wanted to see. So after Narada Muni came, and then Narada Muni came to Dwarka, so he was going to different palaces of Krishna. So as he was going, he was seeing that in one palace, Krishna was sitting with his wife. They have a conversation. And then they went to another palace. He said that Krishna was doing different things. Another palace, you saw that Krishna was arranging the marriage of his child, of his son with another. So, and the another palace, you saw that Krishna was talking with Brahmanas. So Krishna was acting different ways, not like the same Krishna, but acting different ways. So Narada Muni was able to see the uniqueness of Krishna, the uniqueness of God. He was able to see that. You see. So for a period of 100 years, Lord Krishna have this role of a Grihastha, perform this role of Grihastha, and it's so the Lord did it so perfectly done. When you read the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, yeah, there is a chapter was there that described the activities of Lord Krishna as a Grihastha. He played the idea of what a Grihastha should be, how a Grihastha should perform, especially their spiritual activities like rising early in the morning, taking shower, doing meditation, give charity to the Brahmanas, many things like that which a household is supposed to do. So Lord Krishna was doing all that, He was doing all that. When he woke up in the morning, you look into the ghee, you find all these descriptions in the 10th canto. So he was performing the role of a perfect householder. He was performing the role of a perfect householder. But as Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, that it's not that the Lord doesn't have to do all these things, but because the Lord comes, and the Lord being the universal teacher, there's one verse which we say that Krishna Bande Jagat Guru, that Krishna is the guru of the whole universe, the universal teacher. So being the universal teacher, he wanted to show us how if we are Grihasthas, so he wants to show us how to be a Grihastha, how to perform a Grihasthas. Because the Lord himself is shown by example. As they say, example is the best teacher. Example is the best teacher. So how a Grihastha how to conduct himself. So the Lord shows us, and then we're supposed to follow the same thing. We're supposed to follow, and then if we do that, then we will attain we will attain the perfection of life if we do that. Now, as a Grihastha, one is not meant to stay in a household until the very end of life. One is not meant to stay in the house because there are 4 stages of life, 4 stages, which is brahmacharya, then there is the Grihastha, okay, Grihastha, and then there is Vanapras, and then there is sannyas. These are the 4 ashrams, the 4 stages of spiritual life. And beginning of one's life, one is a brahmachari, whereby one teaches, one learns, also the guru. And then when one is 24, 25 years old, one is supposed to get married. So that's a Grihastha life. One get married, have children and all that. And then by the time one is 50 years old, at least one's supposed to retire from active sex life. One can still live with the wife, the active sex life, no more sex. And then one take retired life. This is called Vanapras. One take Vanapras, and then by the time one is 75, then one has to take sannyas. Now, when Prahlad Maharaj, he was his father, he wanted to find out from him what he has learned from the Gurukul. Prahlad, his father was Hiranyakashipu. He was asking Prahlad, that my dear boy, tell me what you have learned from school. Because normally every father, when you send your children to school, you want to find out how their study is progressing. You want to find out. So Prahlad was asked by his father, what have you learned in school? Tell me. What have you learned? So Prahlad said, Tasadamanye Asura via Deina, Sada Samadgunan Duam Asagrahat, Itwatman Patan Griananda Kupan, Manangato Yadarim Haripadastraye. This is from the chapter, Canto 7 of Bhagavatam, chapters 5, text 5, 755, if you want to put that on the board. So this is what Prahlad replied to his father. That my dear father, who is the best, happened to be the king of the demons, best of the asuras, as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, any person who has accepted a temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety because of having fallen in a dark well where there is no water but only suffering. So dark well is the household life. Household life is compared to dark well. You're inside it. You're inside this dark well. You can't get out. Sorry, I'm having some cold. So you're inside this dark well, you cannot get out. Griya under Kupan. Kupan means where? Dark well. Under dark well. You fall inside, you cannot get out. So it's there's only suffering there. So are you putting that verse on the board so that people can see it? 755. One should give up this position and go to the forest. Panam Gatam. Go to the forest. So which means one is not supposed to remain in the household life until the very end of life. At a certain point, one has to leave the house. One should leave the house, give up this position, and go to the forest. More clearly, one should go to the place of pilgrimage like Vrindavan, and where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent, and should take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Vanangata Haripadasraya means that one should go to the forest and take shelter of the Lord, which means one should go to a sacred place. One should go to a sacred place whereby so one should go to a sacred place whereby the saintly persons are there, the Lord's devotees are there, and one should hear from them. Aripadastra, you take shelter of the Lord and hear from the sadhus. Because when one hears from them, the sadhus, the saintly persons, all they talk about is just simply the glorification of the Supreme Lord, the Lord's activities, the Lord's pastimes. That's what they talk about. And by hearing from them, then one can actually be giving up this suffering situation in this material world. So, sorry, it's beginning the having some cold. So, in purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that Hiranyakashipu thought that Prahlad, being nothing but a small boy with no actual experience, might reply with something pleasing. But nothing practical. Prahlad Maharaj, however, being an exalted devotee, had acquired all the qualities of education. Because Prahlad, he has gotten his education when he was in the womb of his father. When he was in the womb of his mother, he got his education. And his teacher was Narada Muni himself. When Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of his mother, Narada Muni was his guru. Narada Muni taught him. He gave him the spiritual science. He gave him he taught him, he gave him the re-education. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, being an exalted devotee, had acquired all the qualities of education, the requirements of education. Yasyasti, Bhakti Bhagavati Akanchana, Savat Gunaistatra Samasati Sura, Aro Abhaktasya Kundo Mahaguna, Manorata Inasati Davatu Bahi. One who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna consistently manifests all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. However, he who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualification, because he's engaged by mental concoction in material existence, which is the external feature of the Lord. So-called educated philosophers and scientists who are simply on the mental platform cannot distinguish between what is actually sat eternal and what is asat, temporary. The Vedic injunction is asatoma jyoti gamaya. Everyone should give up the platform of temporary existence and approach the eternal platform. The soul is eternal, and topics concerning the eternal soul are actually knowledge. Elsewhere it is said, Apashitan Atmataton Grace Medinam, those who are attached to the bodily conception of life and who does stick to life as a grihastha or asuda on the platform of material sense enjoyment cannot see the welfare of the eternal soul. Prahlad Maharaj confirmed this by saying that if one wants success in life, he should immediately understand from the right sources what his self-interest is and how he should model his life in spiritual consciousness. One should understand himself to be part and parcel of Krishna and thus completely take shelter of his lotus feet for guaranteed spiritual success. Everyone in the material world is in the bodily conception, struggling hard for existence, life after life. So Prahlad Maharaj, therefore, recommended that to stop this material condition of repeated birth and death, one should go to the forest. So Vanangata means one should go to the forest. Now, the forest means it doesn't, because nowadays, it's not, there's not that, people don't have that much of a temperament to go to the forest. But that's what people do in the old days. They go to the forest and then they associate with the sages, the t-shirt of saintly person in the forest. But those forests are also places of, they are sacred places. They're not just ordinary places. They are sacred places, those forests. Could be Vrindavan, it could be the Himalayas and all those. This is where they go. So Lord Krishna, he showed the example. He mentioned here that after the Lord spent many years, Samvatsara, so many years in household life, then he decided to give it up. He decided to give up the household life. Now, there's something specific here. There is now, which means who are those persons that the Lord have to give up when he was, performing these pastimes of taking Vanaprastha? Who did he give up? Those demigods, those persons who had come, who are not part of the eternal associate of the Lord, those are the ones that the Lord have. But his eternal associate, they're always there with the Lord. There's no question of the Lord giving them up, because they are part of, there is potencies, there is shaktis, they're always with him. Whatever the law is, his shaktis, his potencies, his energy, always with him. So there's no question of the Lord being separated or the Lord being devoting himself from the from his eternal associate. So like at the end of this purport, which we read today on this verse, whereby the Lord said that the Lord's eternal associate, like Rukmini, there's no question of the Lord's being disassociated from that eternal associate, because wherever Krishna is, whenever the Lord is always accompanied by this eternal associate. It's always with them, like me, because he said the Lord, he can never be detached from the service of his transcendental associate, like Rukmini and other goddesses of fortune. So there's no question of detachment from those. Yeah. But those other ones who are simply like those who are simply come to assist the Lord in his pastime, when the Lord incarnated here, then so the Lord have that lila of separation from them, and then the Lord went to Prabhash, Kshetra, Prabhash. From there, arrangement was made by which he departed the earth. So there's so much to be learned from this verse. So much is there to be learned, and so much we can glean from time to deliberate on some of the points in these pastimes. The pastime with the Lord performed outside of Vrindavan. So this chapter is this. Whoever is speaking, and whoever is talking about the Lord's lila, the Lord's pastime outside of Vrindavan. So we can stop here. Okay, there's one book. No, there's a book which Srila Rupa Goswami had written. He wrote 2 books. He wrote many books, but 2 of those books specifically, one of them is called Vidagdha Madhava. and the other one is called Lalita Madhava. So Vidanta Madhava is dealing with the Krishna's activities in Vrindavan, while Lalita Madhava is dealing with Krishna's activities in Dwarka. So these two books were written by Krishna in Vrindavan and Krishna in Dwarka. Yeah, and they are these two. They are written. They are in the form of plays. They are dramas. They are very, very, very sweet dramas that when we read them, there's so much we can learn, so much realization we can have when we read this drama, and then by getting this realization, they will become more and more absorbed in Krishna consciousness, become more and more absorbed in it. So I'm going to stop here. If anybody has questions, you can please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this series of leelas, pastimes, lots of pastimes. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, realizations you may want to ask, share, you indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to speak or share. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji,
yeah.
My Gurudev, His Holiness Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Maharaj, formed an association called IFAST, International Institute for Applied Spiritual Technology.
Yeah, I was part of that in DC.
Yes. So there are many things said in the scriptures that we need to do, but we need the technique to doing them. And one of such requests or expectations, we get that from today's purport. If I may put it up here, Srila Prabhupada says that one should naturally develop detachment as a matter of course.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you help us how naturally we can become detached from all these material dazzlings? There are so many things attracting us to materialism. And Srila Prabhupada is encouraging us, reminding us that naturally we should develop this detachment. How does this detachment come about? If you can help, please.
Yeah, just like I read the Prahlad Maharaj's reply to his father, whereby he said that this how also life is like a dark well. It's like a dark well, and this dark well is full of suffering. That one should, in order to be free from that, then one should basically detach oneself by going to the forest. So this detachments, like I've been working on a book called the Ramcharitamanas, and in that it's full of ideas, instructions about how one can actually, because unless one is detached, there'll be no peace in one's life. There'll be no peace in one's life unless one is actually become detached. But how this detachment comes about? Detachment comes about by the accumulation of knowledge. Through the accumulation of knowledge, detachment comes about. Detachment starts developing from the accumulation of knowledge. Now, and of course, which means because through this knowledge, we begin to understand the consequences of material life, the materialist engagement. We begin to understand it, and then we begin to also start to understand the benefit of spiritual culture. So when we don't begin to understand the consequence of material life, materialistic endeavor, and then we also understand the benefits of spiritual life. So all this comes by accumulation of knowledge. So let me just see if I can. I was just working at the chapter today. If I can get to it, let me see. It's very, 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 very important. Okay. It's good you've asked that question. Just looking at my computer. It's very, very long. Just have to get some. This up and the wicked. There's one question, some questions was asked by Garuda to a sage who had taken the form of a crow. His name was called Kaka Busundi. So Garuda was asking this question. Garuda says, please accept me as your servant and answer these 7 questions. First, oh wisest master, tell me which form of existence is the most difficult to attain. Next, consider and tell me briefly what constitutes the greatest misery and the highest pleasure. You understand the true nature of saints and the wicked, therefore describe their inherent dispositions. Also tell me which is the most exalted religious merit according to the Vedas, and which is the most terrible sin. Finally, O omniscient one, richly endowed with compassion, explain to me the diseases of the mind. So now Busundi started talking. He said, listen attentively, my dear Garuda, as I share my understanding of these questions. First he began, he said, there is no form of existence as valuable as the human body. Every creature, living or non-living, yearns for it. It is a ladder that can lead to this, that can lead the soul to hell, heaven, or even liberation. It offers the potential for attaining wisdom, detachment, and devotion. Those who fail to worship Shri, even after attaining this human form, and instead wallow in base sensual pleasures, are like those who throw away a philosopher's stone and pick up pieces of glass in its place. There is no misery in this world as terrible as poverty, and no blessing is as great as the company of saints. Kindness in thought, word, and deed is the inherent nature of saints. Saints endure suffering for the sake of others, while the wicked do so to inflict pain. Tender-hearted saints, like the birch tree, endure immense hardship, even allowing their bark to be stripped away for the benefit of others. The wicked, like a hemp plant, they simply want to bind and restrict others. The wicked, like rats and snakes, harm others without any benefit to themselves. After destroying the prosperity of others, they themselves perish. just as hail melts away after ruining crops. The rise of the wicked is like the appearance of a comet, an ominous sign that brings calamity to the world. The rise of a saint, on the other hand, always brings joy, just as the rising of the sun and moon delights the entire universe. The vow of non-violence is the greatest religious merit, according to the Vedas, and there is no sin as grave as speaking ill of others. Those who slander the Lord, the Guru, are reborn as frogs, condemned to that form for 1,000 lifetimes. So anyway, this instruction actually go on. It's a very long chapter that deals with cultivating the transcendental knowledge. Actually, through the accumulation of knowledge that we begin this detachment that start developing. Now, as also mentioned in the Bible time, the first canto, second chapter, it says that Vasudeva Bhagavati, Bhakti Yoga Prayogita, Jananyati ISVARA Ganaya Chahai to come, that by rendering the transcendental loving service unto the Lord, two things develop: knowledge and detachment. By rendering service, the devotional service to the Lord, under the direction of devotees, which means we have to render service bhakti under the direction of devotees. So through that rendering of service, through the bhakti process, then knowledge, we start gaining knowledge. And by gaining knowledge, what happens is that the detachment begin to develop, the detachment begin to manifest. And what's creating detachment? Because we start realizing about the uselessness of this material world. We start realizing it, just like Prahlad said that this material world is like literally also life is like a blind well. When you fall into the blind well, what happened to you when you fall into the blind well? Everything is dark and you simply suffer. But he has compared the household life to a blind well. So through the knowledge, and then as we start gaining the experience in the material world, but through the accumulation of knowledge, and then detachment begins to manifest within us. And as we manifest detachment, so what do? We start saying, oh, I should simply run to the ascension of devotees. I should simply devote myself to worship the Lord. There's no other engagement than the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As we gain the detachment. So basically, there is no other recourse than to gain detached than the accumulation of knowledge. And knowledge, of course, comes by when we are so that if it's not, because especially nowadays, we are so busy, everyone is so lazy, we are so restless. So we actually have, especially when you have so much work to do, we actually have so much time to start accumulating knowledge. People have so much time, especially nowadays. And so what do you do that at least we can try to devote ourselves, try to associate with the devotees, and try to see how much service we can render to the devotees, how much service we can render to the Lord. And through that engagement alone, then eventually some knowledge will come in. By doing that, knowledge will come in, and as knowledge comes, detachment will comes that way. Detachment will comes, which means detachment from the material world comes, and then attachment to the Lord comes. They come simultaneously. You detach from something, and then you attach to something else. Because we cannot be void. We are not voidist. You have to become detached, but at the same time, you have to become attached. You become detached from something, from material, and then become attached to non-material. In this case, you become attached to Krishna. The Mahavadis, they talk of detachment. but they want to be detached from everything. To them is like Jagan Mithya. To them is a Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. This material world is illusion, and only Brahman is truth. So therefore, they always talk about detachment, but they don't know nothing about attachment to God. They only know about detachment from this material world. But that's not the Vaishnava way. The Vaishnava way is detachment from the material world and attachment to the spiritual world, attachment to the Lord. That is the Vaishnava way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, it helps a lot, especially with the Bhagavatam reference 127. Thank you so much. Anadi Devanam Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for a wonderful katha. Well, Prabhu, my question is, it looks like the very ashram that produces even the sannyasis are not glorified enough. Why is this so? I would like to know. Because it looks like people in other ashrams even look upon this very same ashram that produces them. So I would like to know the reason why is it so. Is it a poor fan of knowledge or what is the problem? Hare Krishna.
So I'm trying to get your question. You said that sannyas is not glorified enough?
His question is, we know there are 4 ashrams.
Yeah.
And there is one ashram that produces all the other ashrams. That's a Grihastha ashram.
Yeah.
Grihastha ashram, if someone is a sannyasi, he becomes sannyasi from Grihastha ashram. But it appears that Grihastha ashram is not glorified.
Oh, okay.
And he wants to know why Grihastha ashram is not glorified, but the rest are glorified.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is it's a condition. It's our condition viewpoint, our condition existence. For actually all the ashrams, they are equal because every ashram, they have equal access to the service of the Lord. You know. So just like Slabakun Thakur, he said that there are so many Paramahansas. Paramahansas are the topmost devotee. And he said among the Paramahansas, there are some who are brahmacharis, there are some who are grihasthas, there are some who are vanapras, and there are some who are sannyasis. So every ashram of life, there can be, and many times also, even sannyasi, they can even be less than the grihasthas in many instances. This sannyasi can be less than the grihasthas. And even many instances, the grihasthas can even be more renounced than the sannyasis. So many instances, actually, I can tell you a story. So one time, Ramanujacharya was a great acharya, great version of acharya, and he had thousands and thousands of disciples. And among all these disciples, some are grihasthas and some are sannyasis. So he has many sannyasis who were disciples, and he had many grihasthas. So he had one particular sannyasi, he had one particular disciple, a couple, and this couple, they are very devoted to the Guru. They are very devoted to the service of the Guru. It means their whole existence is for this, they're very so devoted. So one time, the Ramanujacharya, he wanted to test this couple, and he wanted to show people the difference between this couple and the sannyasis. So what he did one time, so in the middle of the night, he sent some disciples to go to the house of this couple to go and steal everything from their house. So so the brahmacharis, they went in the middle of the night. They went to the house of this couple, and then they were taking everything. They stood there taking everything, and then all the jewelry from the cupboard. They were taking everything. They were taking all the jewelries. And then they were looking around. They said that there's nothing left. But that time when they were in the room, they saw that the couple, they were sleeping. The couple was sleeping as they were stealing. And then, so as the couple was stealing, and then they saw that the lady, she had the earring, a valuable earring on her ear. So they were taking their mind how they can get this earring, how they can get this earring. So as the lady was sleeping, because she had one side of her head this way, so they went there to where she was sleeping, where she had the one head up, one side of the head up. So they took that. So they took that, and then they were wondering, and then the lady, she turned the other way. But as she turned the other way, so they became afraid. They said, "Oh, yes, wake up!" And then they became afraid, and then they ran out. They ran away. So the lady, and then she woke up her husband. She said, "Oh, dear husband, I think there must be some scarcity in the ashram, because the devotee just came into the house. They were taking everything, and they took everything, and then they took one of my earring, and I wanted them to take the second one also, but as I turned my head, so that they can take the second one, so they ran away. They ran away as I turned my. So when the husband heard this, he became angry with the wife. He said, "Oh, why did you make them scared? Why did you make them run away? Why did you make them scared so that they can run away?" So he became angry with the wife, that he shouldn't have made them afraid to love, so they stayed for them to take the other one. They can discover they are so renounced like anything, so renounced, So and then, so Ramanuja Chaya, he could see everything. He could see everything because he can see. And then he sent his other disciple to go to the ashram of the sannyasis. Normally, sannyasis at night time, they wash their clothes, and then they will hang their clothes on the clothesline. So, and he told the brahmachari, he told them that this sannyasi where they were hanging their clothes, go and mix them up. Go and mix them up. So when the sannyasi next morning, when they went to where they put their clothes the next morning, and then they find it in a different place, and then they taking different clothes. And all of a sudden the sannyasi started fighting with each other. They're like, "Oh, you're taking my clothes, you're taking my clothes, you're taking my clothes," So the Ramanuja was saying that you can see the creators, they are so renounced that even they just for their life, they agreed to give up everything. The husband became angry with the fact that they were unable to take the second earring of the wife, whereas these sannyasis, they were fighting for their piece of cloth, piece of rags, fighting for that. So you could see who's actually renounced. So the grihastha can actually be much more renounced than the so-called sannyasis. They can actually be more renounced. So which means renunciation is actually affairs of the mind. It's not so much of the external thing, it's actually more of internal, But it's because of our because we are so attached to the form, being so much attachment to the form. So today we see that word sannyas, somebody says sannyas means, oh, it's a great renounced person. Whether it's a grihastha, we say, oh, it's a very, very attached person. So because of attachment to the form, we are unable to see the deeper aspects. We are unable to see that. So in this way, the tendency is not to respect. The tendency is not to respect the grihasthas. But those who are truly advanced, spiritually advanced, they will not have that mindset, because they know there are many, many grihasthas who are great paramahansas, so many. So I have personal experience here in Vrindavan. There are so many, many wonderful grihastha Vaishnavas, so many grihastha sadhus, They are so renounced, and they're so, even though they have wife, but they're so renounced. Their life is 100% dedicated to Krishna, speaking Krishna Katha. Whereas so-called sannyasis, they are so much attached to what they have, all these things. So it's just a matter of mindset. That's all. It's a matter of proper understanding. You know, and to be Krishna devotee, it doesn't matter what ashram you are. Anybody can be a great devotee of the Lord. Anybody. It doesn't matter what ashram one is. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Anadinanam Prabhu, I believe your question has been answered satisfactorily.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you very much. I mean, the
Mhm.
last statement that sannyasi is just a matter of the mindset. So I feel that helps a lot to the consciousness of the mind. So thank you very much. I'm satisfied with the answer. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your question. Anyone else with something to ask? Of course, our revered speaker is not feeling very well, so we wouldn't like to keep him too long. He has cold, and it's very encouraging to have you here, even in the midst of not feeling well. It's very encouraging. But you also needed to take some rest and take care of yourself. Usually cold requires lots of rest. It seems Govinda Prabhu has something to say or ask. Govinda Prabhu.
Oh, yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Prabhu, please accept my respectful obeisances. All glories to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees. Yeah, Prabhu, the question Anadinidam Prabhu asked, even though you've answered nicely, but I think his question is that, according to what you just explained from the scriptures, that the Gehastra ashram is like condemned. It's like when one becomes a Gehastra, the scripture described that as being in a hole, in a dark hole. So it's not a question of who is renounced and who is not. The question is about that particular ashram. It's the same ashram that all the great sages are coming from. So why is that ashram not glorified? But it actually seems like a dark hole that once you enter, your life is finished. But your answer, to my understanding, you try to clarify who is advanced, who is renounced and who is not. But the question is, why is that ashram not glorified, even though all the saintly personalities are coming from the ashram? But it's like condemned by scripture. Not who sees what. Not who sees the Gehastra and the Brahmachari and the Sannyasi or a Vanaprastha.
No, it's I remember said because there's a big difference between Grihastha and Griyamedi. So when one was in materialistic pursuits, so Grihastha life is said to be a dark well. It's being a dark well. But in a spiritual life is different. Because in spiritual life, both husband and wife, they are both spiritualists. They are both engaged in spiritual culture. So which means it's no longer a dark well actually, when one is in that ashram. Ashram actually means spirituality. Just like when Maitreya, when he was no, not Maitreya, sorry, Jagabhakya. Jagabhakya was going to the forest. Jagabhakya was a great sage. He was a grester. And he had 2 wives. So he was going to and the other decided to take Vanaprastha. When he decided to take Vanaprastha, he told his, then he divided his wealth among his 2 wives. He decided one wife, her name is Maitreyi, and the other one, I think Kayani, 2 wives he had. So he divided his wealth among them. So one of the wives asked him that, as you are going to the forest, what are you going to gain? Why are you going to what are you going to gain? And he said that way I'm going to the forest to go for that ultimate attainment of life, where there's eternal life. So that's why I'm going to the forest. So that second wife, Maitreya, said, oh, I also want that. So therefore I want to follow you. So she followed into the forest. And then the whole Anayaka Upanishad was a conversation between Jagabhakya and Maitreya, this husband and wife, who became saved back into the forest together. So the Grihastha life is glorified when one is devotee, when one is following spiritual culture, when both husband and wife, when they are both spiritualists, devotees, then it's glorified. Whereas if one is pursuing sense enjoyment, so obviously it's regarded as dark world when one is pursuing sense enjoyment. And yes, everyone is coming from Grihastha life. Everyone is born, but not but in a true sense, not every sages are born from a combination of men and women. There are many sages who are born from the pots. Many sages, just like Kripa and Kripi, they were born from the pot. There's so many personalities who are born from the trees. And they just by chanting mantra, a person is produced. So not all the sages are coming from the combination of men and women. But of course, in general, that's how everybody's born in general. But there's exception to that. So again, just to make it very simple, is that the Grihastha, based on spiritualism, is not condemned, it's actually glorified. It's glorified. And because if you look at so many associates of Chaitanya Prabhu, many of them, they were Grihasthas. Not just many of his intimate associates, like Srivas Thakur, Advaita Acharya, Mukunda Datta, Pondari Buddhanidhi, Sabon Bhattacharya, so many, even King Parudra, and so many, even Lalitananda himself was a Grihastha, he married 2 wives. So many intimate associates of Chaitanya Prabhu, they were Grihasthas. They were not necessarily sannyasis or brahmacharis. They were Grihasthas. So which means if Grihastha are condemned, why will Chaitanya have these intimate associates, Grihasthas and the Grihastha? Why will he have them? The Ramananda Roy was a Grihastha. Ramananda Roy is the one that Chaitanya Prabhu spent the most time with discussing the intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna with. This was Ramananda Roy. So, so it's not true that the scriptures condemn Grihastha. No, they don't. But as long as you're materialistic life, material consciousness, of course, condemned, because compared to dark world, because it's like a sink to the dark hole. You have no way to get out. But once you start developing real knowledge, it can come out of it. So once you become a spiritualist, then you know quite well that Grihastha life will no longer be an impediment to Krishna consciousness. But that is, if you're devoted, both has to be devoted. Both husband and wife have to be on the same wavelength. Just like in our ISKCON society now, we have many of our gurus, devoted guru, they are Grihasthas now. They are not just all sannyasis. It used to be all sannyasis before, but now not anymore. In the past 30 years or so, 35 years or so, many gurus are Grihasthas, Okay. All right, I hope that satisfies you.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the clarification. Thank you.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Well, Prabhuji, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to share this from Srila Prabhupada to buttress just what you said. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text number 2. This is Sutta Goswami speaking. And on the western bank of the river Saraswati, which is intimately related with the Vedas, there is a cottage for meditation at Shamyapras, which enlivens the transcendental activities of the sages. So in the paper, Srila Prabhupada says that the whole Varnashram system, the whole Varnashram system is so designed that each and every status of life is called an ashram. This means that spiritual culture is the common factor for all. The brahmacharis, the grihastas, the vanaprasthas, and the sannyasis all belong to the same mission of life, namely realization of the Supreme. Therefore, none of them are less important as far as spiritual culture is concerned. The difference is a matter of formality on the strength of renunciation. The sannyasis are held in high estimation on the strength of practical renunciation. So that is just what His Grace Ishwara Prabhu said in his delivery. It's a formality. But all the four ashrams are the same. They all pursue the same mission, which is realization of the Supreme. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you want to say something?
Srimad Vara Prabhu, are you there? Yeah, he's here.
Want to make a comment?
Are you available to say something before we end the class today, Prabhuji? Looks like everybody is catching cold.
Yeah, I'm having calls, so.
Yeah. He probably may not be able to speak. Oftentimes he is on the road, like our Garuda and Govinda Prabhu. So, but Prabhuji.
I thought you were hearing me. I thought I was speaking.
Oh, no, we were not hearing you. Sorry.
Sorry. Anyway, I was just thanking Prabhu anyway. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Wonderful delivery and wonderful explanations. Thank you very much for taking your time to come always to enlighten us. We are very much appreciated. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Good hearing you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right.
Oh, Prabhu Ishwara Prabhu. I don't know Sanskrit, but I understand there is a difference between Grihasta and Grihamedi.
Yeah.
And I was quite surprised that Sutta, what's the name? Uddhava will use Grihamedi shoe for Sri Krishna. And I don't know what is the translation for Grihamedi shoe, as we saw there. Let me put this here, and maybe you may help us, Ishwara Prabhu. Yes, here, Grihamedi shoe, and Grihamedi shoe in household life.
Yeah, Grihamedi shoe, Grihamedi this refers to the general household life, general. just use that.
Or the general.
Just general household life, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the Lord performed pastimes, he came in and performing, act like an ordinary human being.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't make him ordinary. We just act like an ordinary human being.
Acting. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So, dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace Ishwara Prabhu, for being with us today, even though his health is not the best today. We can't thank him enough. So may you all unmute and we all chant Jai. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Anchakalpatarigya,
Chakalpatarubhishta, Kripasamudabhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanamebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Anantakoti Vaishnava
Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Kepada Saraswati Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai.
So, Sadhu Prabhu, Hare